There are two passages, and then the questions will be in this video as well. How we speak. Speaking is possible because we have special parts in our bodies: lungs, throat, voice box, tongue, and lips. When we speak, we release air from our lungs. If we're going to speak a long sentence, our brains tell our bodies to push out a long puff of air. If we are speaking only a word or two, the puff will be smaller. This puff of air goes from the lungs through the larynx, which is made up of cartilage and muscle. The larynx, often called the voice box, contains vocal cords that stretch across the opening. When the air passes through the vocal cords, they vibrate or move back and forth quickly and make a sound. The picture: teeth, lips, tongue, vocal cords, larynx, voice box, trachea, esophagus, pharynx, oral cavity, and nasal cavity. What are vocal cords? If you think that vocal cords are like strings on a guitar, you'd be wrong. Actually, vocal cords are vocal folds, or many layers of tissue that vibrate in your larynx. You can still use the term vocal cords, however, as both terms mean the same thing. The vocal cords have a V shape. How do we use the vocal cords? To make a high sound, we tighten the vocal cords. To make a low sound, we relax the vocal cords. And most people do all this without even thinking. So now the sound is coming through the vocal cords, but the sound isn't a word yet. What happens next is that we use our throat, tongue, mouth, and lips to shape the sound into vowels and consonants. For example, say a word like football or window. Notice how you open your mouth and move it around when you change vowels and consonants. Notice how you move your tongue and change its shape as you speak. You're making a fancy concert of sounds inside your mouth. Speaking seems like the most natural thing in the world, and when we do speak, we rarely, if ever, think about how we create words and sentences. Even so, we aren't born knowing how to make words automatically. So that picture is trachea, vocal cords, tongue. Sorry, there are three passages. Dogs and birds making noise. Animals can make a variety of sounds, from the loud barking of a dog to the sweet song of a bird. How do animals make these sounds? A dog can make quite a few sounds, from whines to loud barking sounds. Scientists say that the dog has vocal cords much like a human's inside its thorax or chest. So why can't a dog speak? The big difference is in the dog's anatomy, or the structure of its body. A dog's mouth is not as flexible as a human's. A dog can't move its mouth to make it smaller or roll its tongue in different positions. So after the air passes through the vocal cords, the dog can't change the sound very much. Birds, on the other hand, can make a wide variety of sounds. Some birds, like parrots, can even imitate human speech. Singing birds have a larynx, but they don't have vocal cords. Instead, a singing bird uses its syrinx to make sounds. The syrinx is in the throat and is made up of membranes, like thin pieces of skin, that form the sounds when air passes through them. Birds can vary the sounds by squeezing or loosening the tension of the muscles in the syrinx. They move their esophagus, windpipe, pharynx, and mouth to vary the sounds. Like humans, birds have to learn how to make these sounds. Some birds, like vultures and some storks, don't have a syrinx, so you'll never hear these birds singing a note. At picture, some of a bird's sound-making structures: air sacs, syrinx, trachea, larynx, tongue, bill. Question number 1. Use what you learned from reading the sources to answer the following questions. This question has 2 parts. Answer part A, then answer part B. Part A. What idea do how we speak and what our vocal cords share? A. Several parts of our bodies work together to let us speak. B. We can make sounds because we have vocal folds. C. Your mouth and tongue help you form vowels. D. Air travels from the lungs to the voice box. Part B. Choose one detail from each source to support the answer in part A. A. So you're picking 2 answers. A. Speaking is possible because we have special parts in our bodies: lungs, throat, voice box, tongue, and lips. That's from how we speak. B. When we speak, we release air from our lungs. How we speak. C. The larynx, often called the voice box, contains vocal cords that stretch across the opening. How we speak. D. Actually, vocal cords are vocal folds or many layers of tissue that vibrate in your larynx. What are vocal cords? E, to make a high sound, we tighten the vocal cords. What are vocal cords? F, what happens next is that we use our throat, tongue, mouth, and lips to shape the sound into vowels and consonants. What are vocal cords? 2, circle the word in the paragraph below that means capable of bending easily without breaking. I'm going to say that again. Circle the word in the paragraph below that means capable of bending easily without breaking. So why can't a dog speak? The big difference is in the dog's anatomy or the structure of its body. A dog's mouth is not as flexible as a human's. A dog can't move its mouth to make it smaller or roll its tongue in different positions. So after the air passes through the vocal cords, the dog can't change the sound very much. Three, what information in what are vocal cords helps the reader understand why dogs can't speak, as stated in Dogs and Birds, Making Noise? A, people can make higher sounds by tightening the vocal cords and lower sounds by relaxing the cords. B, even though we don't often think about how we say words and sentences, we don't learn to speak automatically. C, people move their mouths to form words from the sounds made by the vocal cords. D, the vocal cords of humans are not like the strings on a guitar because they have a V shape. Right. Using information from all three sources, explain how humans and animals make sounds. What similarities and differences are pointed out in the three sources? Reread each source and underline details that will help you explain how humans and animals make sounds. They complete numbers 4 and 5. 4. Plan your response. Use a 3-column chart to make notes about the specific information in each source. You will use these notes to provide examples for the points in your essay. 5. Write an extended response. Using evidence from the sources and information from your chart, explain how people and animals make sounds. Learning target. In this lesson, you use several sources to find information and answer questions. Explain how using multiple print and digital sources will help you find complete and accurate information.